All right. I already lost tracking 2 times, so hopefully this will be the end of my tracking loss. Thank you everyone for joining me today in the Nomanskyinterceptor Wonders Show. This is episode number 9, and if you are joining me for the first time, I would like to give you a little bit overview about the show. So this is just a simple show about the No Man's Sky Wonders in VR. It's all about exploring the game, doing some exploration, and working with the different civilizations, founders and alliances across the No Man's Sky, galaxies, to provide some nice interviews and impressions about the game. Doing this mostly in VR to provide a new fresh perspective. So this is episode number 9, and I'm really excited towards this episode. I was gonna do a grand opening for the No Man's Sky studio, who's built with a friend of me, but unfortunately I think my friend forgot to upload the base. So probably you're gonna see this in episode number 10. And the studio was just about starting for the new few surprises that I wanted to introduce to make the show a little bit more exciting. So I plan to enter the guest name before we start the show, and get some random numbers that we then translate to glyphs, and then we will just go through the portal to a random let's say location, and from there we'll do a little bit of exploration. I think we have found this nice interesting marsh system here. So we'll start from this system for today, and for today we are gonna have one of unique No Man's Sky players who really left his mark on the game. So he is a founder of the Chimera Corporation civilization. He is a base builder. He also take very nice photos on Twitter and Discord. So today we have Max, or by his game name Max NMS. So he's joining us today for the whole session of episode number 9. Hey buddy, thank you for joining, and thank you for being patient while I went through all of this rambling and fixing my tracking issues. How are you doing today, Maximus?
Oh, very good. Just enjoying a little bit of a relaxing day, a little time off finally, and yeah, it's been nice. I was happy to hear that you also had the day to explore, and it's the middle of the afternoon, so yeah, I was excited to show you around and show you what Chimera is about, and the kind of fun we have, and the other people that we like to work with. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been more than I could ever have imagined in the last 12 months. It started from just a couple people just hanging out, and I was basically playing by myself for the longest of times, and just sort of was stumbled upon and was invited to join a group called Chimera Corp. I initially, like I said, I was just a contractor. They saw me as someone who was interested in the game, and I soon discovered that leadership was somewhat required at the time, and yeah, so it's been an interesting evolution. It's been fun. It's been incredible. I can't. Yeah, it's. So looking forward to whatever shenanigans the day brings.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm so excited to have you today with me, And your episode is the first one after the new update, so we're going to talk a lot about the new update. And I gave a brief introduction about you, Max, but why don't introduce yourself briefly to the folks here who never met you before? Whatever you want to share.
Well, yeah. Well, my name's Max, and I go by Max NMS 88 on after the year I was born. And I've tried just to get Maximus, but I couldn't be the first on Xbox, sadly. So I was slightly disappointed. So I started, fumbling around, and I've had that name for as long as I've had an Xbox. So it sort of stayed with me. I did have my Xbox account hacked at one point, which I then reverse hacked and got back, which was lots of fun. And yeah, that was definitely a struggle, but it's been I live in Canada. I'm in Toronto. Lived here all my life, and I'm just obsessed with science fiction and anything there is to do with the genre and fantasy, and always have been. Both of my parents have been in the movie industry for close to 40 years. So I've been exposed to quite a bit of the entertainment industry, and it's sort of just been everything. It's just been that's just the family has always been involved with that kind of stuff, and just has led me down sort of the road of enjoyment of all things entertainment. It's kept me busy for sure.
Yeah. So I think all the folks that I met so far in No Man's Sky have always been a big fan of science fiction. I think that's the theme for us. So by any chance, have you watched the Battlestar, Galactica series, PG?
Yes, the original and the newer one as well, which was also fantastic.
So, do you agree with me? This looks like the Cyclone ships, correct? I see this.
It's not the Cylon Eye. That's what it's been getting. That's what's been passed around a few of the communities.
The Cylons are back.
The Interstellar Index has been hard at work getting together, and they've been bombarded with. By all sides, basically trying to figure out what to call these things. And of course, eventually we will have, as a community, come to a consensus on, what's this prong? What are these plates? What are these wings? Like it's in the works. But Neurosi and Rusty over at the Interstellar Index, which have been one of our biggest partners for the last year, we've been working with them through build competitions, and I also work with Nirvana and the PBF and do build stuff with them as well. And that's what sort of made me love this game more, was the building. It just sort of, as most builders can agree, you just sort of just get lost in it to the point where if a bunch of builders were in a group chat together, you couldn't hear a pin drop, There would be just everybody's in build cam, just okay, I'm going to get a coffee.
Yeah.
It's just the vibe, It's just so it's relaxing, and then of course all the exploration and everything else that comes with it, and just community, and it's just fantastic. It's just
So,
but what about these ships? These new ships are just beautiful. They're breathtaking. They knocked it out of the park with these things.
Yeah. I think I read that there is over 1 million combination of them. And this is the first time I actually visit a Mars planet in a while, and I always get this vibe of the medieval age from these Mars planets.
Mm-hmm.
And this planet is wonderful because I think you summon your fighter up there, and I see this massive ringed planet in front of me here, and this is also corrupted Sentinel planet, and I can see also we have this is a two-head. Oh no, this is just two of these how do you say machines here,
resonators.
Resonators, yeah.
They're so cool.
I tried to stand under one of them before, but the effects, unfortunately this update kind of ruined a little bit the VR when you start moving around. So I think it was slightly better before this. But you know what? I'm still getting a lot of tracking issues. So give me a second. I'm gonna try to edit my, my tracking, area. Something like it's like a curse or something, because every time I play, correct? Every time I play, I have no issues. But as soon as I start to stream, I start having these tracking issues for some reason. So the BZVR tool have four cameras, and I'm trying to find a way to ensure we don't lose tracking at all. So I think it have something to do with my laptop or anything. But I'm getting a dedicated infrared light. But I think I managed to edit this for now. Okay, so I'm back now here, and this thing just went under me. It's like it's going through my heart. So we have a big schedule planned for today. We are gonna go to visit some of the most nicest space about in the Chimera corporation, and we're gonna provide impressions about them in VR. Some of them I've seen just pictures. I haven't visited them yet in VR to keep my fresh impressions about them. But before we start doing this, let me just give some feedback about how these new crystals and the resonators look. They are big, they are detailed, and the sound effects, the lighting effects, it's it's very big, it's very good. And when they fix whatever they have done with this update for VR, I mean it's like a completely new game. So this marsh also bio, which is also mixed from how do you say, between marsh and exotic, is also wonderful. Is this chasing you? It's chasing you. Oh no, this is your bed. That's so funny. It's dancing. This is one of the strangest beds I have seen so far. Let me see if I can this is actually your companion. Yeah, it's actually so funny. And a low orbit fighter I've just summoned. So Max, can you still hear me? I think having some audio issues. So okay, little bit of audio issue. So let me just try to take a look here to the new ship, and my friend Flory mentions that if you are flying in VR, you can actually completely get out. I posted a short video, and I'm very happy with the new with the new cockpit, because we didn't see any new cockpit since the living ship, and even with speeder and Utopian speeder and solar ship, they still had the fighter cockpit. But I think this is completely new, and with all of the variations, I think it's something that will really be interesting. Some folks mentioned that the cockpit will also change, but so far I haven't seen that. So Max, buddy, how can we why can't we just go to the first base, and is it fixed by any chance, or no? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, no, that's are you looking at me? I can see your hands holding up the menu right now.
Yeah.
That's something else. That's not seeing just hands dangled beside is you can definitely tell, especially in the anomaly when people are like touching walls and stuff. They're like, whoa, pretty. I've seen a couple, or when they're trying to grab the statues that are like glowing. It's just pretty funny.
Yeah.
You must do the same from time to time, just to see, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting, because playing in VR gives this big feelings that you're actually inside the game, and we don't have any games that have this scale of No Man's Sky in VR. Even even the best games, correct, they always have put like a 2D for the background. Like here we actually see a real life world around you, and even the top-notch new games, like for example Horizon, I mentioned this before, they will just show you what's around, but everything in the back will be actually just a 2D image. That's it, correct? But here I look to this and I see an actual tree, and with actual roots and stuff like this. So Max, when did you actually started playing, while we're going to the, normally if you want to go and let me join you going to the first base, why don't you tell us about when you actually started to play, how do you say, No Man's Sky? So I'm gonna join you from the normally going to the first base, but tell us, about if you remember when you started playing No Man's Sky. When was that, and what actually made you play the game?
Well, when I first saw the trailer, I of course, like everybody else, freaked out, and then sadly discovered that it was a PlayStation exclusive. I was tempted to buy a whole new console and do the Switch just for that game, but then I weighed the decision, of course, like other people, to wait a bit to see, if it was what they showed. Sadly, of course, due to the release, of course, everybody knows how that went, and blah, blah, blah. That's a whole other story. But where it is today, like when it was announced that it was releasing for Xbox in 2018, I bought it immediately. I was like, boom. Played it for a couple hundred hours, and then only by myself. Like I wasn't like first involved with any community stuff, didn't go on Facebook or do any research, just played it just as they delivered it, and then took a break and picked it back up around the time, I think, between the Living Ship and the Desolation, where it was the derelict freighter, and I have not put the game down since.
That's wonderful.
Missed it yet. Other than a week or two on vacation here or there, it's been constant since then. It's just then through the Prisms update, and then it got prettier, and then Frontiers dropped, and it was just, oh my god, the base building became I just became obsessed. Like I couldn't stop building bases, and then farms, and then stasis, because it still hadn't learned any of the glitch techniques, or what if I knew then what I knew now, I don't know if I would have learned the same. Like I feel bad sometimes for new players who are thrust, and it's been at the same time, like you want people to obviously see as much as they enjoy it as much as they can, and if you want to grind it out, then we have a department for that.
Yeah,
that's why we're a corporation. We have a place for that. And there's a board meeting somewhere that accommodates that desire. So it's that's what the game just has always been, this perpetual motion machine. It just keeps moving forward and better, and just delivering more content, and obviously a few issues for some people depending on hardware or platform, or hiccups that along the way, of course. But I think we've all grown to love the game more and more as we play it. The new update is a prime example. So it's you in VR, right? At the same time, it's like, wow, it's like it's headed. If you could see it then, where it would go, like we all would have hopped on a lot sooner. Right?
Yeah. So in VR, the resolution is amazing, and I have few comments I want to say about what you have just mentioned. But I was going to the anomaly, and I see your fighter from the back, and this is the first time I take a close look in HD, nice resolution to a fighter, and it looks like a face of a person, like a sci-fi person. Again, it reminds me of the Cylon motherships. I took a picture. I'm gonna comment about this later. Yeah.
Like the Doctor Who robots with like painted pop cans and glued on. Some of the classic props, you'd be shocked at what they used to make, like, it'd be like rims of like like detergent bottles would make like shoulder.
Anyway, I'm gonna try to
the tricks of the trade.
Do what my friend Solari, who helped me, unlimited amount of times with me be able to stream today. I'm gonna try to stand and see. Yeah, I can actually stand and look to my ship, go through my ship and look from it. Oh, but I lost the tracking again. But yeah, this is actually a wonderful feeling to do. You can actually see your ship going through. So you started, actually in 2018, as soon as it was released with the Xbox, Game Pass. So
yes. I didn't get it the day, obviously, it was released. I had noticed that it had been added to it was just available. Like, I think I was in an EV Games or GameStop, and it was just there. I was like, what? Then I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, wait a second, I can play it on Xbox? No. At the time, like, dropping $6 for a new car, I just couldn't justify it. Because I didn't know. Like, obviously, it's become this incredible experience, and with the community and ship hunting and working with hundreds of people, I just, it's so much more than I could have ever imagined. But just at the time, I didn't really it wasn't quite there yet, But yeah, I loved it from just being able to explore and just float and do whatever you wanted. I just that is always what's drawn me to a lot of the open world title, and people who enjoy open world titles to begin with. That is half of the fascination of the game. It's just, I can just sit there and float around and do whatever I want. And
I find a lot of people. I think I lost you, man, in the session.
Yeah, I crashed. There's been a lot more of that happening, but that's actually a good thing, because I need to load my normal save so we can go to the hub, because that's where my bases are on my normal. Okay. At least the institutional. So I'm going to load that save, and then I should actually be at the hub, so you can then hopefully just load in on me directly.
It's a risky time.
A lot of Xbox people in Chimera are very, very upset, because a lot of people can't even load the game, but I don't know why that's no one knows why that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's a risky time. It's a risky time to do a show after updates, correct? But
no, that's fine. You got to roll with the punches, right?
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes. So
excellent. Okay, so I see you now. So yeah,
I'm going in now. So do you remember the first time ever you logged inside the game by any chance? Any impressions from the first time?
I do. So the first planet I was spawned on was a red viridescent planet that had a hot storm once a day. I built a small, because all there was the legacy parts at the time. So I built a little prefab house to start, and then branched out from there and stayed in the home system for probably about 50 hours.
Wow.
Exploring every nook. Yeah, I didn't leave. I didn't see a reason to at the time, because I just felt like picking every detail of the main planet and roving over the hills and finding the drop pods and digging up salvage, just the stuff that the game was telling me that was the way to do things, because I was like, okay, let's do that. So
that's what I had done myself. So when I started the game, I kept walking. I mean, no, my first game, my first planet was very toxic planet, but the next one I jumped to was a paradise planet. I still have a base there, and I kept walking for hours, and I was so impressed. And right now,
I didn't see a paradise for so long.
As soon as I teleported to your systems, there was a wonderful storm, and then very nice fighter have spawned, and then it kicked the storm away. But now I'm heading to the Medrov's planet. I see the signs.
There's Medorvos. Yeah, so the hub has 6 planets. So there's the core hub, which is a paradise, and then the local. So our system was last April converted from a tier 3 Corvax system to an outlaw system. So our hub became an outlaw system full of solar ships, and it was like, oh my god, it was like Christmas came in spring. And now Christmas has came in spring twice, because now we are a dissident outlaw system. So
Nice.
Dormos has been converted to a corrupted Sentinel planet.
Okay.
So,
I'm heading toward you now in the
perfect.
actual Bizani base. Oh, there is an interesting object. Okay, this is reminding me that I plan to do as part of the show a space encounter. So let me try to do this first. I haven't done any space encounters in VR before, and I have got a lot. I have farmed a lot of these, anomaly detectors. So let's activate a pulse drive and see what kind of strange stuff will appear in your home planet. Maybe you already know, because for sure you guys have tried, but maybe the people in the show will not know. Okay, so we have an emergency containment device, and look how big and beautiful this is. Oh my god, I think this anomaly is, strange stuff is one of the best things underutilized in No Man's Sky. Hopefully they will add a little bit more value, but it's one of the most random, because you never know if you didn't do it before. And now in VR I'm getting close and I see this big yellow crystal, and it have all these kind of things attached to it, and I'm getting extra close. Oh my god, I hope I will not hit it. And the level of details. So now, interestingly, the strange thing that space after this update, space looks crystal clear. Like I see this object, I think this is maybe even more than 4K. Like it's 2K. It's pushing the game to the best, which making me feel that they are so close to fix the resolution on the planets. But in space, this object is massive and it's beautiful. So I haven't seen this before at all, and I see this X-rays coming out of this device going through me. It's like I'm looking to a very close sun, and losing tracking. Okay, this was interesting, just to break the boredom. I'm gonna head back to you. Let me just take one last nice screenshot, hopefully for history. Okay, so let me head back to you, Max, and I see this beautiful paradise planet, and you guys are lucky. So your home system was actually first an outlaw, and then now it has a corrupted sentinel. So it's like
yes, it started
Christmas.
as a tier 3 Corvax.
Christmas comes
it was,
twice.
We couldn't even believe it when it happened in last April when the outlaw update dropped. Like, someone messaged me and said they couldn't get to the hub. I was like, what? And then they were trying to get to the hub through just a teleporter, and it was giving them access not granted. So as we've learned that you can't teleport from outlaw systems to normally policed systems, right? So that was a huge red flag, because I didn't know what that was at the time. I was like, what do you mean you can't portal to the hub? And then someone sent me a screenshot of it in the hub, and I was like,
this would have looked crazy. I'm just taking a look to your freighter here before I come down. And
if you want to, I'll meet you on the freighter, actually, because I would love for you to walk through my freighter base, because it's definitely it's better than my survival safe.
Okay.
My survival safe freighter is fit functions, nothing else.
Man, this is one hell of a fleet in here. Let me take a look to this looking very nice living ship. It have red tacticals, purple and blue, and
Leviathan.
Wow.
That's the one you got for the Permadeath Expo, which everyone had a great time playing, right?
Oh, is this? No, I don't think this is. What is it called? I forgot his name.
Oh, I might have the second one if you're looking at two.
Yeah. Oh no, this expedition, it was fun, but I'm never gonna do it again. I didn't redo it. I hate dying, correct? And
it was so much fun. Oh, it was great. I died in a cave because I had a glitch because my hazard wasn't recharging, so I dug all the way down to the mantle, and it was still, Storm was still killing me. I was like, okay, that's fine. I just let it take me. I was like, this is what it is.
These, grand fighters that have the starship, Star Wars themes are really cool. I'm looking to one of the guns now. I'm very close to it, and the level of details and how accurate they look like an actual gun. I would like to come and see one of them in a space battle soon. Okay, let me head to you. I'll try one day to hit the... Oh man, finally I hit the middle one, correct? Because on my own fighter I always try to hit the middle one. I always end to the left or to the right, so that's so cool. So let's take a quick look, and then maybe we can head to the Chimera Corp. So I think a lot of people had this wonderful feeling the first time they put in the game, correct? Walking for hours on the first planet and exploring, and so this is the most interesting thing I've ever seen so far, correct? As soon as it report here, we had this cute little guy. So I have this in my fighter, but the idea of putting it here, how did you do that? I mean, usually you cannot build it here. Is this a mod?
So, well, no. So, your friends can come and build on your freighter bridge. I don't know if that has changed, but that might have changed with one of the more recent updates, sadly. But this was built by my friend Zane, a fellow admin of Chimera. While I was working away on the rest of the base, he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I, do you want a couple of nice little adornments on the bridge?" I was like, "Yeah, I certainly do."
Man, this is
so
maybe...
this is what he came up with. I was like, great, I love it. So I can't delete it or move anything, so I was like, awesome, that's fantastic.
This is the most interesting bridge I have seen so far, and it's so cool, actually. So
my administration team is great. We do collaborative builds together, and there was 3 other people that helped build the hotel. So it was a labor of love, everybody involved. It was just one of those build sessions that just went very, very well. It's like sometimes ideas are bouncing off the walls and it just sort of slapped together, and that's a lot of our builds have gone that way. We did an embassy build for the AG, or the Sky Latino Corps, which is another one of dear friends and partners, or one of our first big partners and friends that we made, headed by a Loco QC and Kenzu.
Wow, I'm walking here, and then I see all these lights and fires around me. It's really nice.
You just wait.
Yeah. So walk me while you are...
That door is gonna...
Yeah, this even idea of going through the door was very interesting. So tour me through
you
this.
To go through this door. That's how this is built. So this tunnel is kind of sort of leading you to the opening.
Yeah, and you mentioned, we have been, I think, maybe 30 minutes in, and I just want to mention to the folks, I saw Solaria join, correct, but I'm not sure if anyone else joined. I found a way to be able to hear the chat while in VR. I'm gonna, but I want to do a lot of testing just not to screw up, because I always have a lot of technical issues. So by next stream, hopefully, I will be able to, hear and maybe interact with you guys finally in the chat. I also read all the live chat and all the comments, and I reach to everyone who joined. So again, if you're watching, thank you for joining, and please, I remember this time to tell you, don't forget to subscribe before I actually close the stream. So don't forget to subscribe and like and stuff like this. But back to Max and the Chimera Corp. So before even we dive in the Chimera Corp, because I have a huge amount of questions about it. Before you started, correct? You mentioned a couple of your friends. Have you created any friends in No Man's Sky before the Chimera Corp? Any actual friends, close friends that you started to play with regularly? And tour me through this.
Before
I will follow
before
you.
Joining Chimera.
Yeah. Or with
0.
Chimera.
Well, I had been playing solo for since I had started playing, and then I had taken a break and then played Cyberpunk for the better part of 6 months straight, and loved every single minute of that game. And loved it so much that I looked for up the Facebook community and got involved with that, and posting screenshots and tips and tricks and answering questions, and that's what kind of drove me to. And then when I booted up No Man's Sky again out of the blue, I then was like, you know what? Maybe I should do what I did with Cyberpunk, and maybe I should check for a Facebook group. And there, lo and behold, the Xbox community page. That's just a sort of. As I was looking through them, I was like, okay, well, that seems to make the most. Oh, so if you've noticed, I kept a piece of the legacy parts as a pass through for the weapons dealer, which is basically the bottom of the sort of base, which has the various weapons for sale.
Yeah. This reminds me a little bit of Carry Fighter, correct? So. It looks very nice with the colors and a lot of decorations here and lightings, and you guys fancy the red and the orange as far as I can see. So you played a little bit of Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk didn't have a nice launch itself.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was incredible.
Can I go observe?
With that. I feel sorry for them. It was amazing.
Yeah, I have it on my backlog. I know it's it have been improved a lot, and I'm planning to play it on PS5. So
you got it. Do.
Yeah, but I just need time, man. The problem is having time, and games that are not in VR. Yeah. Games that are not in VR don't really impress me. Being inside the game versus just actually being in the game. So I even wondering if I'll be able to play Diablo 4, even so I spent before hundreds of hours in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. So this is making me concerned, because unless I am in VR, I get a little bit bored, just moving a controller and then stuff moved on the screen. But we'll have to see. So Elden Ring was able to break this for me, and I played a lot of Elden Ring. And I may try to do this with Cyberpunk. So yeah, we're speaking about your friends, correct? So you mostly played solo, and then you went to Facebook and
yes, and through the Xbox community, I discovered that there was so much of the game I knew nothing about. I saw builds that I was like what? I just my jaw hit the floor. I just had no idea what was possible, and then. Through discussions, and then I posted a screenshot of myself. I had just finished building. I had made one friend who posted on the Xbox group, and he said he wanted to build a colony in Isdurejung, which is the 19th galaxy in the galactic order. I had spent all of my time in Eisentam. As soon as I got out of Euclid, I made my way to the Lushka. As soon as I see that another thing that I learned, which I didn't know, is about galaxy types, right? So I had been in Euclid for God knows how long. And then when I finally punched through the core and made my way, I stopped along in a couple of Hyades, and I was in Calypso for months building gas networks. It was quite a long progression. Yeah, I had an entire stasis device and fusion igniter network that was about 10 bases and spanned 2 or 3 galaxies, and was at one point and then one.
So is there any other stuff that you want me to see on the freighter, or we can head directly down?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah,
I think it's very nice. I really wish I can just pick up one of these and drink, because I'm actually very thirsty right now, right? But they don't let us do that.
It's all good, brother.
Yeah, I think there is a game. There are a couple of games. I think in VR, one of the most nice games is called Song in the Smoke. You can actually eat and drink. Let me just take a look. In the in photo mode in VR. So wow.
There's one room that you should actually come take a look at before we leave. It's the arborist's nook. It's I think we missed it on the way in. There's a couple different. There's a breakfast nook, and then there's like where my tree guy hangs out.
So the photo mode in VR is kind of bugged because you can actually free fly, but man, what a sight when you see this. Correct, it's massive. It's massive. You are actually flying all the way. Okay, so show me and then let's head down. I think we kept people, waiting for so
one
long,
last
man.
thing, little bit of eye candy, and then
Okay.
we'll be on our way. Sadly, you can't see the little dude who works there, but
The NPC.
yeah. His head is really cool.
You done
So
that by
this
yourself,
is one
man?
of my favorite
You organize all of this stuff by
this is one-
yourself?
Yes. My freighter is this was all done by me, except for which, like I said, was a gift from my friend Zane. Everything.
So you actually
Inside
have
there is
this
all-
nice touch as a builder when you start organizing all these different pieces, because what I've seen so far, correct, and I've been touring many bases, is that some people just really pay a lot of attention to how things fit beside each others, and they just naturally do this and naturally put the colors and the blades, which are very close to real life. And so far I really like how all the stuff fits together in a very colorful and nice way, all natural. I really like, even so I'm a big fan of science fiction and stuff like that. I really also enjoy nature, and I really so happy when I see natural stuff. It reminds me of getting close to reality in VR is also something that I love to see. Let me actually close my HUD now. I remembered, so people can't complain and they can see this way better. And thank you for showing me around, man. This is one of the nicest fighters. Let's jump onto the meat. Let's jump onto the
Let's head
real
down to the
stuff.
hub. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's bases for days. I think between the three different hubs that we have now through build challenges, they've created basically hub systems in their own right, like the nicest jungle planets you're ever gonna.
So
It's fantastic.
tell me about the friends. Have you met any of them? You're speaking about the Xbox Facebook. Have you met? So the Xbox community on Facebook looks like it's very active then.
Well, see the thing about that, well, I started there, but of course, it's not. There's so many more groups that are on Facebook where everyone's pretty much like, if you haven't made any enemies or so to speak, or comments that have gotten you kicked from groups, I find that a lot of people in the community are in almost every single group, be it the Xbox or the main No Man's Sky group or the OV30. Some people don't get along, but I get along with everybody, so I don't tend to have a problem, but some people do. But there's so many people that play, right? So it's but that's where I started my sort of social media journey, so to speak, with No Man's Sky. And the one friend I made to begin with, we had built bases sort of nearby, and then people showed up and started building within this one little area, and you could basically jet ski on the hovercraft back and forth to each other's base, and it was fun, but it wasn't really a community. It wasn't like, we didn't really communicate with each other. It was more just people showed up and built bases and then went on their merry way.
So
and then we got to
this
visit
is
from
how
Botswana, who I
you
had
started?
no idea at the time. Yeah, well, that's how I started social, basically, I guess, interacting with the community. And that person who I then played with stopped playing completely, and then I was like, okay, well, let's carry on the process. So I made a post on the Xbox page saying hey, if looking for work, basically, oh, hey, it's do you need help doing anything at all? So anyway, somebody messaged me, and it was the person who wanted to get basically a community started, and I was like, great, that sounds fantastic. That's what I kind of wanted to do at the time. That was I was looking for. And this person ended up being toxic and sort of abandoned the group, and leadership.
No.
Like a lot of people that were with me at the time that helped build Chimera to what it is today. I couldn't give them credit. I couldn't give them responsibilities. Like there was nothing I could do to strengthen our core, basically, because I was left with admin privileges, but not actually being able to change anything or give anybody else roles or whatever in the Discord or Facebook. So an evolution, or sort of a corporate takeover occurred last November, where we made a new Facebook page and, had to we saved as many people as we could. And with that,
Man, that's an actual battle, to get to your civilization stand up. I landed on the top of on one of these archives on the top here, and I'm just taking a look for the city of Chimera from the top. And man, this reminds me a little bit of where I am. So I live in Dubai. This reminds me a little bit of Dubai. So I'm very close to a very popular place when we have few towers. So I've seen the city of night with Xostir, but this one slightly more colorful. And I'm gonna go down now. I see this also flying two pyramids connected to each other. I'm gonna jump down and come to you, and slowly, so I don't crash the game, and take me through the official tour, man. And what you have just mentioned, correct? This is just something unfortunately happens. Not all the people on the internet are friendly. I know at least the No Man's Sky community is one of the most nicest community. I've been saying this over and over again, that I came from nowhere, been playing the game for so long. I always play solo. I never thought about playing, a multiplayer. But as soon as I started to play multiplayer and become a little bit active, man, the welcoming I got is, what actually, made me started to make this show, and start to make this awareness about the different, civilizations. That every civilization have its own story, but this is one of the biggest struggles. So when you started, the person you started with actually tried to pretty much destroy everything. He was toxic, and pretty much removed your permissions and pretty much everything. And I look to this statue. Oh my god, the colors and the lighting and the leaves, you can actually touch them in VR. So when you look to this number of buildings, I actually need to make my headset very fixed, because you have this statue, and then behind it you have the fire skull, and then the archive and the flag. And when I don't move right now and I stand still, the resolutions is wonderful, and that's a sight to behold. So Maximus, can you still hear me? Okay, I think your voice dropped. I see you in the game, but I can't hear you anymore on Discord. Let me take a look if I dropped. Nope, I didn't drop yet. Oh, I see some. Let me check quickly my Discord. Everything seems fine. Max Can you hear me, buddy? So I think there is an issue with Max Discord, but I can still see him in the game. And if you hear me, Max, you can just walk me through the city. So this is the actual city of Chimera, and I would like to know a little bit more about its history. So let's hope that I can hear Max again. I can hear the in-game voice, but I cannot hear Max anymore for some reason. Oh, okay, and pirates are gonna attack the city. That's interesting. Yeah, pirates attack me everywhere I go. So this big skull that have the firing priest out of it with the red lights behind it looks extremely scary. So I really want to understand why you guys use a lot of reds and stuff like that. Let me check my Discord one more time to see what happened. I'm gonna try to reconnect. 1 second, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi. Did we did? I don't know when we lost audio. So how's it going?
So we lost audio like maybe 3-4 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I was curious as to. Okay, so do you remember the last? That's fine. We can pick up for the last. You remember where I was talking?
So yeah, so I think I was just telling you that I have heard a couple of the civilizations histories, and yours is one of the most interesting because looks like when you started, you were unlucky to start with a person who was toxic and tried to pretty much ruin everything you guys were trying to do. Is that correct?
At one point, yes, they threatened to quote unquote delete it all, but they were unaware that I had already transferred ownership of the Discord server because they neglected it to the point where they didn't even notice that it happened.
Well,
so yeah, it's one of those interesting moments where three other people that I trust dearly and have been with me and with us and through the whole building of the group. We couldn't share in the passion and share in the sort of leadership while that was still in the way, so to speak, and it was kind of a dark cloud that has gone away, and we couldn't be happier. It was a more of a rebirth or a phoenix moment. Whereas
Phoenix.
the Chimera has always stood for a combination of there was never actually a proper description of what the Chimeran beast represents but it's more of like coming together as, more than just one thing. We are builders, we are ship hunters, we are, community members, like the Chimera, like that beast represents like more than just, a symbol. It's like everything coming to like, inclusion of as much as, trying to work comfortably with as many other civilizations as we can, working with as many people as will have us. And so far, it's been great. I have had no complaints. Some here, well, not no complaints, of course, because, the universe is a big place. But everybody we've worked with so far that I've had experience with, like regularly, has been great. And, it's why we keep doing what we're doing.
So I see here's a message saying welcome to Chimera. That's a very nice touch, correct? And
thank you. Yes, that's our our wave to the new people.
This city have a very unique identity, and I'm starting to we're spending these personal interviews of the different civilizations. I'm starting to get more of every civilization identity. Every civilization have its own feeling and its own overall impression, and I don't, the pirates are attacking, but I still feel a little bit safe inside here. And the story you just mentioned, I think I hope people can listen, not to be and learn, not to be suspicious, but even so, there's a lot of good stuff that happen from the internet. Sometimes things can be don't just go everyone and just trust everyone, because sometimes
initially the thing was working with this person initially was fine. Like they were online and working with us every day, and then all of a sudden just dropped off the face of the earth. And like, hey, we all have lives and we're all busy, people die, babies are born, tsunamis happen, I get it. I don't need we can all, everyone's got a story. I got a story, you got a story. It's fine. Like, but at the end of the day, like, we're not here for that. We're here, but at the same time, we are here for that. So that's the difference that we've made, is like, if people are having problems, yeah, you can reach out to somebody, reach out to an admin, like, talk about it, like, we're still human beings, right? Like, and that's like, caring is half the battle. I find sometimes that people are, self-interested in things, it's like becomes more about like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't have the same vibe. And I find that working together with people and, as a selflessness, like there is a bit of selflessness with administrative, like leading the troop and carrying, like, we all want everybody to feel like they want to play and feel like they want to, come build bases and post their ship finds and do the stuff, right? And the more that we, I guess, have conversations with the newer players or even the veteran players, there's a lot of introverts in space, surprisingly, in an explorative game. You have a lot of people who are very shy, and I get that. I've never been one of those people. I'm a,
So why don't you take me through an official tour while we're speaking, like the different areas of the city?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I thought you had been listening attentively, and it in fact was an audio hiccup. So yes, you get greeted at the opening and next to the statue of RN Jesus, which is sort of a pun to the the D20 dice roll of the probability that we all face when we go and try to find nice things.
Yeah.
This was a collaborative build. There is an undercroft underneath this that was built by Todd, my one of the most the biggest part of the administration team that helps a lot with the technical stuff on the Discord, and is a real. I don't really know if our little group would be as efficient without him, and he's done quite a bit of building in his own right. When I first met him, he was more into ship hunting, and then has built some of the really cool stuff. And Reese just it's amazing, after doing a couple things here and there, everybody grows with the game. It's collaborative stuff has helped immensely. So yeah, this is, if we continue on through the city, there's a refueling station over here, which is I don't know, I kind of gave it like a Cowboy Bebop-y sort of I don't know. Like I have improved in my building since this base is about a year old now. So it's I still like it though. It's got some quirks, and there's an appearance modifier in here in case you want to change up.
It's a history, man. It's part of your history. Correct?
This was my first nice. Yes, exactly. I can never get rid of it. It's will probably be here for as long as this character is active.
Refueling looks so nice, so I didn't see this idea a lot. So actually the ships park and they are getting refueled while they are parking, which is one of the most interesting concepts in any of as sci-fi. They always refuel most of the show. They rarely actually fly, so it's a good I hope one day they will introduce this concept, correct, and make refueling way more fun than just clicking on a button inside the game. But I would like them to introduce refueling, and maybe if they refuel in the actual stations that we build, they will have maybe faster speed or something like that, nicer or anything.
So this is an EM tower that I built for the city.
Nice.
Kind of just like a fun sort of, it doesn't do anything. It's just sort of, those like EM generators that we can build. I sort of was like, well, how big of one do you think you'd need to power 2 archives?
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I see you guys use a lot of red and fire, fire lightings and fire effects. So it's getting more to powerful fire vibes around here, especially with pirates attacking me here. So it's giving me a lot of special tools that you guys like to see, because I see also there's always these fires around here. It's like, I'm not sure this is because the outlaws are shooting me, the pirates, or it's just what you guys like to use a lot.
Well, when the fire barrels came out, we were super excited about them. So we definitely placed a couple here and there. It's well, each of the admins have like a color palette. Like I'm more brown and like sort of like leather and golds, and Todd is green and purples and blacks, and Lambs is more of a bluish and yellow and gold. Like a lot of the ships that he has are like the yellow exotics. He is more of a base builder than a ship person. So, but he does partake in the ships from time to time. And Zane, our fourth horseman, partakes in. Oh, sorry, my fucking wife's calling me. Pardon the language. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I will be right back.
Yeah, I will just give this level of details here. So when you get so close in VR to the build, and now with a little bit of improved textures after the Interceptor update, I can see that there is a huge amount of details, and it looks like it's actual metal with hammer used to actually build this kind of stuff. I would like to clang, but there is no clanging sound. I can just go through it. But it is big. Oh, it goes all the way up, and I think this is actually very nice builds that I'm looking with the lighting, and then there's different layers all the way up. It's really fascinating. I mean, it's not as huge as some of the other stuff, but it's very impressive because it looks extremely complex, and there's just a lot of very, very nice ideas in getting this tower in place. And there is a lot of frights spawning in here. So I really like, seeing the frighters with the color shifting in this planet and between 2 archives. It's just so cool. So
now that you've seen the city, we should take you to the Promenade, our Disney castle.
Perfect.
You got to go to Disneyland when you come to Florida, right? You can't skip out on the Mickey.
Okay. Now.
Well, I'm glad you liked your visit. This was a labor of love between 3 or 4 of us, and we just wanted something nice that people could come and feel welcome and used to, it's almost every single new person that came in the door, we used to give them like the tour, because there were so few of us at one point. It was like, hey, welcome to the, it's the, you get the you get the tote bag, you get the tea, you get the hat, you get the, like, welcome to your first, this is your first day. Oh, gee, you need a coffee.
Yeah,
we like it like it's this.
no,
We do corporation funds quite a bit in Chimera, just because
I really
nobody's
appreciate.
There are bosses, but we're still like everybody's in this together.
I really appreciate you taking time to show it to me. It looks really nice, city with multiple distinct areas, and I had a wonderful time. I think we have time maybe to see a couple of more places, but I think we need to pick up the pace a little bit. Wait, what is this? What is this that I'm looking at here? Is this flying, pyramid, correct, with the lighting effects?
That is our Atlas pyramid. Yes, that is built by Travis. Yes, that was his little project on then as you're flying in, you kind of see the Atlas as you're making your way into the city.
Okay, so I always have pirates on my ass in this game until I figure a way maybe to create a new save. But still impressive flying through the atmosphere. Now, unfortunately, the headset rumbling have stopped for some reason working when you take off, only when you pulse. Let me try to see where you are right now, and I'm gonna go to you. So you actually ended making, you mentioned a couple of the names. You actually ended making some nice friends.
Yes, for sure.
You consider them actual close friends now, after playing
definitely.
for so many years, and that's one of the nicest thing about the No Man's Sky civilization is that you start usually with few folks. Sometimes you hit walls, but what I saw is that people end making some very, very nice friends, and when you start working together toward a common goal and toward common vision, things end up being very very close. How do you say, commitment, and I really happy to see the Chimera Corp growing. So I see a lot of bases here. Which one are you at right now? I see
so I just uploaded
Church,
it. It's
the Church
the
of
Promenade.
God. Okay, wait.
Oh, let's go there. We've seen the city. You should see that.
And there is beside it also
being space is incredible.
There is the Chimera
Promenade. Yes, that's where I am currently. If you want to take a brief look at that, just the Church of the Broken God is just fantastic, and it being Easter, I think the big JC would appreciate it. Now, just LOL.
Let's take a quick look to both of them. And I'm having a hell of a nice time, when the pirates are not shooting at me. But these have been very nice episodes so far, and wow, this planet is so cool, and
it's beautiful. It's
so
like a nice tangerine
with big trees. I'm still recovering from my cold.
That Sentinel ship looks pretty flying in, man. That's not gonna get old for a while. That probably ever. They just look so nice.
Man, the number of wonderful and creative positions that I have seen, the builders place, how do you see, the landing beds in so far is starting to blow me away. So Pella was able to put one that's upside down. I also have Nick from the PSVR2 Game Cats putting it in the completely opposite upside down direction. Kim from Catinian Empire put it in a very also different way. Now I see all these five, and I imagine that if they are connected, they will look very. If we have 4 or 5 ships landing here, they will look very cool. The Galactic Hub folks also had them, on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
Every time I think I've seen it all, I keep seeing new stuff, and it's just
Well, this
wonderful.
is a this is a landing flower. So it opens
Yeah,
like a
oh,
flower.
landing flower,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so this was built by Zane. And
Yeah.
he's done a couple of these, and yeah, this was his gift to the Promenade, and I was very happy when I looked over and saw it. I was like, "Well, isn't that delicious?"
Dude,
Then he
what?
described what it was. I was like, "Even better." I was like, "Yeah, well, enjoy it. Yeah, this is Disneyland. This is where we have our fireworks shows, and we celebrated our 200 member celebration last, I think, May, and had
Dude,
a
what
video that
is
was
this, man?
posted by.
That's beautiful, man.
Well, thank you.
Wow. Wow. So let me get close so I can see a little bit more, but oh my god, I can't find the words because yeah, it looks like Disneyland. I never saw Disneyland, but I see the movie of the castle when they start any Disney movie, and
Yeah, it's basically,
and
it sort
you
of
have
turned into that. Like I
this.
didn't.
Oh, this is actual water here.
Yes, this is yeah.
Oh my god, you have an actual river inside here with the lighting inside. Okay, so
Yeah, it's a
that
swimming pool. It's like an infinity. It's like a mall from like the Washington Mall kind of thing. Yeah.
this is my favorite ever decoration I have in the game. So these ones that have coral things that have the lighting going all the way up and down looks so wonderful in VR. But the attention to details here is really really breathtaking. I mean, there's just too many decorations, and unfortunately, some of the bases I went to didn't load properly in the past, and I didn't spend too much time with Neurosi when I was discussing the index because I had the problem with the VR. I'm gonna go again for the index, but and with the Galactic Hub folks, we spent most of the time being killed by them in PvP and beating any races. But this is so far a lot of details. I think there's just too many buildings, and there's just too many colors and just too many decorations. Now I remember I really need to disable again my HD because guys, there's just do you know how long it took you guys to build this?
This project took about 2 weeks.
2 weeks working
Yeah.
on that as a group, man. That's really really nice to see the outcome, correct? So yeah,
Yeah, well, Travis had built the fountain in the center of the mall there, and Zane built the landing pad, and then I built everything else. We didn't
uh,
even have our fourth horseman at the time, which was
I
having
can't
an extra
even
hand at building parts is always appreciated. But
I
yeah, it's always fun collaborating.
I can't get my head on how even this thing is structured because there's too many combinations of too many stuff being connected together. But
Well, I can give you an idea. So these are living lanterns. So you see these things hanging here.
yeah,
So I have a recipe for these. So this is a combination. I've done a couple of these as like aliens, like flying in this. Like I did like an alien attack one time. They were like flying in the sky and then over someone's base. So I did like a couple of them, and then I took that same design and turned them into hanging lanterns. So that uses a resized biodome. And they've actually reoriented the snaps of the biodome. So if you now try to replicate these, you can't make them the same anymore. You'd have to invert the biodome now. So yeah, so it's basically a combination of a lot of mushrooms and frilly bits to create something that looks like it's just a giant column of glowing mushroom frilly bits.
and this not
And
even the end. What in hell is that? That's
that is an
one of the most
infinity
beautiful thing I ever saw.
tree. Yeah, so this is a little shout out to our boys on the fighting in the Donbass and kicking the rescues ass. But a little little blue and yellow for the.
Man,
At the time,
I'm really trying to
was,
avoid using, words like this is the most impressive I have been seeing, and because I don't want, to kill my viewers from boredom. But man, this is really, really beautiful to look at. The mix of between colors, green, blue, and yellow, and the lighting, in the water. And I saw some animals. Now we know that animals can't actually swim, but this guy was just walking in the water, looks like swimming. It's really, really nice. Okay, let's go to the next
Church
one.
of the Broken
Yeah,
God.
let's go to the church
Be
quickly.
Ninja.
And
Oh man, he makes beautiful things.
I really hope we have time also to check the hotel. And
Yes, we will make a double dash over to there.
Yeah, I know you guys have also the pyramids, but I think I will not have time for it today. I would really like to see it, but man, I having a huge amount of plans because I'm sure I'm gonna have you guys again, maybe with more folks, because you made me so curious about all the interesting folks, and for sure I'll be honored to have you guys again, hopefully.
Oh yeah, we could spend an entire day on Luna Parody. so yeah, if we could do another episode there, that would and hopefully a couple other people from the admin team will tag along and fly by in a on a cheetah or two or something. There's always a funny pet to see.
Okay, so we are going to the church.
Church of the Broken God. Yeah, it's
let me see.
You're gonna really like that one in VR because you have to look up, and it's just you're gonna wow.
Okay, perfect.
He's very good at perspective builds and construction in general, so he's a treat to have at the hub.
I am heading there right now.
Wonderful. I'm just going to run to the washroom quick. I'll be right back.
Perfect. Okay, I think we may be slightly ahead. I'm gonna take slightly more time that I originally planned for this stream. There's just too many nice stuff around here. Oh my god. So this is the church. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, this was a build that was done by Ninja 777. He's been with Chimera for a few months now, and this was his addition to the hub. And
wait, I want to see this door again. Oh my god. So this door actually rotates.
Spectacular.
Yeah,
it's amazing. At nighttime, it's just like wow.
Okay, let me look up here. Wow.
Yeah, it's
so
just
this
like
is
it's a cool design.
It's going up and down, correct? For me, it's going up and down. The ceiling is actually going up and down. It's like it's hanging with a thread, and everything is going up and down. Oh, because this is the actual
separators.
Yeah, wow, that's very smart. Let me go.
The way that they're placed, it just there's such a nice like shatter to it. It just looks like a ceiling that had been. He even put smaller ones on the ends of these light. He resized light fissures, and it's just such little details. They're just beautiful.
Man, I took a nice screenshot because I flied all the way to the top, and now I see it from top here, and because this natural glitch always moves, the ceiling looks like it's alive, and this is really creative with all the different towers and sizes, and really cool. really cool stuff. Let me go down on the
I
ground.
remember visiting it when he was first putting it together, and it hadn't been quite decorated yet. And I looked at it, I was just like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be something." It's really
Wow!
put together.
Yeah, I nearly broke my head trying to look up. Ah, because it's huge, man. That's huge. Okay, let's go quickly and let me take a quick check. Yeah, we have maybe like 10 more minutes. I want really to see if we can reach the hotel. Is it close?
We can get there fairly easily. Let me here. I'm gonna have to reload my survival save, so let me do that quickly.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Boot that
to
up, and then I'll fly directly there right now.
the anomaly and then I'm gonna rejoin you again quickly.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So while you're doing this, why don't you give a brief feedback about what you think about the new update? I mean, there's a lot of questions, asked by different folks, about ranking it. A lot of surveys. I want to hear, the Chimera Corp, feedback. Where you guys think, is it, one of the best ever in the last few years? Where you guys rank it so far? And I'm gonna tell you my personal opinion. Like, no one care about my personal opinion. But
well, in my personal opinion, I think it's one of the best things they've done. And since this, like, the solar update was something that added a lot to the hunting of, just general exploration and wanting to see what's available. But with these new center, like, there's so many combinations of parts. It's almost like that's like. And they have so many variations within the variations, even so, it becomes even more like I find this like, and it's because of the new biomes and more to explore. Like, there's it has added so much more to the game than I could have expected. And I love the new ships. I think they're gorgeous, and all the. It's one of the better updates that they've done for sure, given the amount of response from the community and how many people, like, every time someone posts a ship, I'm just smiling because they're all pretty. Like, some of them are like the little crickets or the scarabs leave a bit to be desired, but there's kind of an appeal to them too. So it's hard to like have a bad word to say about just new free content that just is really good. I would have preferred a couple more build parts, but that's just me screaming at the others. Glass triangles or a glass set has been on a wish list of one of my admins for forever, to the point where it's like a meme, because it needs to just at some point. It would be nice if it would just be added to the game, but we'll see. You never know. You never know what they're gonna add, right?
So I see you on your fighter, and here is the asteroid fields.
To the hotel, yeah.
The asteroid fields have spawned, and I always try to give a feedback about the asteroid fields, because even so I saw them hundreds of times. In VR now with a new ship, would have a very clear cockpit and very nice clear cockpit. These asteroid fields always give me the vibes that I am actually in space, and it's just wonderful to look to this massive amount of asteroids. And now in space, regardless from what anyone can tell you, I'm telling you guys now, in space, No Man's Sky is crisp clear in VR. Crisp clear. The asteroids are crisp clear. Everything is high resolution. If you like just spending the time in space and just looking to the cockpit, look to the shop details, unless you are in a ship fight, because when things move, things become very blurry. But the asteroids, they are not moving, and they are just fixed there, and they are big and they are huge, and there are just too many of them. So I like looking to it. I like looking to the the sun going beyond or behind the planet and moving there. So where should we head? Which planet should I head to?
I am at the hotel. So
you're already at the hotel? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me see. Where is your marker?
It's not. I don't. It might not have been in the system that you hopped into, though. You have to. I think that was the first system that we were in. Yeah.
Let me summon the anomalies then. Okay.
It is technically close to the hub.
The anomaly,
plus or minus
the anomaly,
5,000 light years. But
funny thing about the anomaly is that when it spawns, it doesn't impact the asteroids. So it's just in between the asteroids, and man, I mean, if people are looking to this and they're saying it looks wonderful, it is really, really breathtaking in VR. I mean, if you just remotely thinking about buying a VR headset, just to see this, just walk around the asteroids, I'm telling you, it's something that you will never get bored of. If you even like mining or stuff like that, it's very wonderful. So I'm coming to you, and just let me know. I'm just gonna tell you about my own personal, impressions about the feedback. So even so, the feedback ruined a little bit the VR experience, especially on planets or if there's just too many moving stuff. And it improved. I think they're working on the VR. From content perspective, I think we all agree it's add a huge amount of stuff. But I personally believe, and I was speaking with a couple of my friends before the stream, I personally believe it's a massive leap from tech perspective. So I think the settlements, correct, the frontier update adds the settlements who are randomly generated on the planets, but a little bit boring, correct, because build with them. But this is the first time they actually add variety to the planets, any kind of stuff on the planets randomly generated without doing a reset. And if they can start doing more of this stuff, seems that we're done with the ship, but if added more stuff, like let's say type of fauna that are randomly generated on planets, or an AI, how do we say, race, new ones that randomly comes or spawn on planets doing their own stuff. If they were able to do more of these, and I think now they were experimenting or they were testing with this update, and I think they got the hang of the technology. I think this was one of the smoothest launch. I think only after a couple of patches, everything is way more stable, and I think this is this is wonderful, man. Coming down through this planet with pink everywhere, and I think it's color shifting. It is beautiful. It's really beautiful. Coming through the atmosphere with the headset vibration, the controls vibration. It's really, really cool, and it's in the middle of the sea. It's an actual hotel, and it's loading for me now. So I'm gonna come and try to land on the landing bed here. Okay. I think landing is becoming a little bit more streamlined somehow. It was always a little bit arcadey, so I think now you need to aim your ship a little bit to actually land probably, which is I'm fine with. Okay, so I think, in the parking lot. Where are you, man?
I'm just right up here, just at the lobby here, or just at the steps.
Oh my god.
Welcome.
So I've seen pictures, correct? I've seen a Pella pictures and a couple of pictures. But seeing
they were fantastic.
Yeah, seeing these two big, geeks statues with the fires coming out of their heads. Oh my god. And the hotel,
welcome to Vegas.
The hotel is just behind this, in the middle of the ring. Man, that is so cool. So why a hotel? I think you actually choose the location very good, because this looks like an island, so people can actually come here for vacation. But is there any?
It's funny because I picked this system. I found it randomly when I was just exploring in hub space, like just within 10,000 light years of our capital, and I just fell in love with a couple of the planets and just kept this sort of on the back burner as a potential event system. And one night we were flying around looking for places to set up, because we wanted to do a main base to, have like a draw for people to, come to the system, or if they didn't want to necessarily spend time building a base, they could come hang out and do something. So we set up the Academy, or Starship Academy build event to mainly showcase ships and everything about the new fleet, just being able to have 12 ships. And so that was something that was always going to be like an idea for an event eventually in the calendar year. So now the story of how it became a hotel is it's sort of, I guess, just kind of happened. There was a structure here at one point that I looked at and was like, and then just sort of added a little bit too. And can you still hear me, or did we lose audio?
No, I can hear you.
Oh,
I'm just trying to take a couple of nice photos. Yeah.
Yeah, so it just evolved into that. Like, we started off as making it like a landing pad with it was a big 24-deck landing pad, which was great for doing fleets. But then eventually, as I started decorating and going around parts, I decided to sort of scale back the landing area. So these are like the valet parking spots. So there's a couple of spots right out front of the hotel that, like, let's say you land over at there, you can always bring your ships a little bit closer. So these are more.
So this is only for the VIPs.
Well, anybody, just in case you want your nice ship to be shown right away. It's but just sort of and then that new sign came out like a day or two before April launched, and then so I was like, okay, well, let's get it all tarted up, and over the next couple of days it was finally ready to officially launch to the community. And it's been definitely a fun little project, and I love buildings, and Art Deco is one of my favorite that sort of era of architecture is the not quite brutalist, but not going that much in the concrete direction, but I always like the sort of timbery, Victorian-y kind of buildings. So I might take this design and use it for another structure at some point. But it worked out. It was one of those happy accidents that I then went back and sort of went over and over and over again a couple of times just to make sure that everything was lined up. And it was a fun little side project. And there's a little sitting garden around the back, so once you make your way around through the lobby of the hotel, there's a kind of couple sitting areas, and there's a whole other patio on the one side.
I'm coming. I was just checking in the night how it looked like, and oh my god, there is this plant is color shifting actually. I mean, between pink and blue, and because it's in the middle of this ring, when you move the time, it looks like we are actually moving, like we're actually circling, like in a circle or something. But let's go inside and take a look.
Sounds good. So we start off with the
I really like that your build, guys, is always very realistic. You actually have planned every single set of pieces. So when I'm outside here, you plan the parking lot stable for people to sit outside and enjoying the view. So it's very real, not just looking good, but it's actually very well planned. Like, you actually have a clear process to just plan how things will look like and how they will shape up. Do you actually do this?
Well, yeah, but I usually try to make builds tactile, like ones that you can utilize. Like, I like the Fibonacci spirals, or the various like complex designs that are available through glitch building, which are beautiful. But I find sometimes you can't really do much with them unless you're like, I like tables. I don't know, so I always make jokes that like, I love that, but can I sit anywhere? Like, is there a table? Like, is there a place I can get a beer? Like, what else can I do here? Like, I love all builds, and that's every time I see a design. If people are doing, like the stuff that Crisscross builds, or like just incredible work, right? Like, there's a few things that I look at. I'm just like, well, that is just amazing. You know, like I still am. I get wowed by people like Randy Davis, like one of the Rich Schmidt, like the Castle King. The guy builds like he's built more castles than most people will ever build bases like in their life, right? So when people have done a certain thing a certain number of times, you know, you kind of there's certain styles you start noticing that like people have that, if people like working with stone a lot, or if people like working more with the legacy parts, like Dom Malvina, one of our mods, just built a wonderful like sci-fi horror build for Distant World Tours, and I'm gonna hopefully be able to visit it later on tonight. But it's just, everyone's getting the heebie-jeebies from it, because she built a trap base one time that was really cool, and it's like, if I told everybody it was a puzzle base beforehand, right? And actually be Ninja, who did the Church of his trap base on Luna Paradiso. When we do, if we do another episode, which, like I said, we're going to go check out the pyramids and see that wonderful jungle planet. There's a couple puzzle bases that will definitely test your resolve. One of them in particular took me the better part of an hour to escape from.
Oh, I would like to try this in
5,000 hours of this game.
Yeah,
it was something else, man. It's a lot of fun. And
so people will check in here in the hotel, and they will just this is the keys, correct? So you put their keys in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have like 6 rooms. And we can actually go and check in and then go to our room and rest, correct?
Yeah. Well,
should I use this?
The only real... Yeah, so that takes you upstairs to the viewing deck. And there's
oh, nice.
Their rooms are more like, I guess, ceremonial. There's, as you said, there's like, the building isn't very large, and I would maybe at one point try to make at least one room or one or two, but there's obviously with parts it's difficult to make everything pretty, right? But I think if I was to do another like proper hotel, I would focus more on the structure itself, and there wouldn't be as much of the stuff outside, right? Like I'd save the almost 1,000 parts out here and jam it into this building, right? Like if I was to do another structure similarly, that's the one thing I would change, just so that you could actually like show up and go into the room and make your crappy coffee and crack the Mickey from the those bars that the mini bars. There we go, the ones that are expensive and you don't know they're expensive.
Yeah. I really like you guys are taking a lot of attention to the actual labels, like you actually created hotel, correct? And I see maybe Chimera, correct? So you guys keep paying a lot of attention to this. I think I didn't see much of this before, so really well done. Okay, let me just take a quick look. Okay, so I think we are a little bit way out of time. I really wanted to see the pyramids and do some of these puzzles, but let's save them hopefully for our next episode. Maximus, man, this was one of the most nicest shows I had. Really appreciate your time, and for the folks who join or rejoin or watch me or watch me and Max, feel free to subscribe. I will hopefully be able to do this every week on 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, which is close to 10 p.m. Europe Central Time, and hopefully with less tracking issues from next week, and hopefully with being able to read the live chat, and maybe one day I'm gonna even create an introduction to the show if I can do it one day. I had a lot of fun seeing all of these wonderful buildings, and having Max today, hearing about the Chimera Corp industry. Oh, there is actually some gardens in the background. Man, you guys you don't leave anything to chance. So feel free to visit and see all of this stuff by yourself. Feel free to follow Max on Twitter. I put his tag on the description. And yeah, this wraps my stream for today. Thank you guys for joining me live or watching this later on. Thank you for time, and thank you, Max, for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to we'll be hanging out soon, definitely.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please
Right.
refresh the